just very irritating people. But like I said, it's been talked many times, you know, what a great athlete Jim was, and his best choice was marrying Donna. Anyone who knows Donna would agree. It's true. But all his greatest accomplishments with his athletic career and the sheriff's department and his 4 kids and Donna, the best feeling for me to say is, hey, that's my brother. And
you're a Wolak, Jerry.
Throw your helmet.
I still have good stuff. I can't. But anyways, I have said that countless times.
Okay, I'm Donna's sister, very similar to Donna. I have said that countless times in my life, and I continue to say with the same pride and admiration as I did when I was 8 years old. So hearing a Wolak say I love you is like capture a picture of Bigfoot. It is a very rare and most likely a hoax, but I love you, Jim, and happy birthday.
Well, I actually needed a pinch hitter there. That was, thank you.
Okay. If there's anybody else who would like to come up and maybe say a few words about Jim, that will be welcome. And then Jim has something he'd like to say afterwards. Jim's got a lot to say.
I'm Jojo, Jojo in Espanol. And I'm Jim's sister-in-law, and I'm so blessed to have him. I remember the first time I heard the name Jim Wolak, we were at the St. Louis Carnival, which I hate carnies, I hate carnivals. Jack goes to school there, now we have to work it, it's horrible. And Janet comes up and she's like, my brother's in love with you. And I'm all, woo, okay. And she came up half hour later and said, it's not you, it's that sister, Donna. And it was a blow, but I've never seen such a big smile from my sister. And I mean, I think she knew about this guy ahead of time. But she had a grin ear to ear, and she was just so happy. And I remember the first time I met him on that ski date that Tucker coordinated, and I thought, oh my gosh, I would love to meet someone like him, which I did. And of course, he had a mullet back then, a little bit, but oh my God, I thought this guy was hysterical, so amazing. Could tell stories about the family that I just thought he was a god. And the way he treated my sister, I was in awe of him. I just really thought, gosh, this guy is amazing. Donna is so very blessed. And when you got that suede jacket for you for your birthday, oh, I like it. Look at all he spends a lot of money and let me drive the Audi. I really love this guy. But mostly, you know, Donna says, I know lazy, but I do not think Jim is lazy at all. I mean, his dad always had a saying, work smarter, not harder. And the moment we moved in next door, he was thinking, he's like, Jojo, we got to cut through that brick wall. That way I can just walk straight to the pool. And I will not have to walk around to the gate. He's always thinking. He is a smart man, and I am in awe of him. He's a very intelligent, intense, competitive man, but that guy has a gooey inside. I mean, and I love him. And you know why I love him? He takes his shoes off when he comes to my house. Every time.
We're mom and dad.
That's right.
And the first time I met Jimmy, he had a mullet. And Donna says, we're going to give you a little trim. Mom's going to give you a little trim. And she kept going, do the back, do the back. And we got it off. He looked like Jay Leno. And so it was fun. And he was so good. And through the years, I've had my run-ins. I give Jimmy a heck of a time. And he's like so cute and so dear. And so I feel so safe in our relationship, so good. When I heard his first speech as honor cadet, I thought we are in for something unbelievable, and we were. He went, he speaks, I just tell him it's a gift. It's a gift. When he speaks, I love it. I just love it. And he thrills me. And his children thrill me, and I can't even tell you what a blessing this kiddo has been to us. He saved us from a horrible boyfriend. Once I catch somebody in a lie, I have a hard time going backwards. And Jimmy was an answer to prayer and always has been. And I have never caught him in a lie. Thank you. We love you, Jimmy.
Oh, Jimmy loves you. For me, Jimmy, I first want to say happy birthday. Two of my favorite sayings are timing is everything, and the other one is I forgot already. But life is beautiful if you don't weaken. That is a great one, and you're just both of that. I remember, well, let's look at it this way. You started your life 50 years ago. Your mom and dad gave you birth. They gave you all the qualities that God gave them to teach you how to live a great life, and you've done all of that. We're very proud of you. Some of the things that I was thinking about would be some of the things that, Donna, that you had mentioned about meeting for the first time. I know that at St. Louis, not St. Louis, but Sacred Heart, you and the boys always stood behind us, and you were very excited about meeting the girls. And I think as this dad...
A lot of good-looking girls that counts.
No. But I was the dad that introduced Donna and Jimmy to each other. And I remember that time you took the van and you went skiing that first time, your first date with Tucker. Those are great memories. But I think the biggest memory is your wedding. Your wedding was magnificent. It was a time of special, special time. The video, Steve was there. So many people were here to celebrate then and now. It's just beyond me to think that they're still here for you. Mm-hmm. They love you so much. But at that wedding, some of the funny things that I remember that were really kind of funny for me is when you came up as you were being introduced and you came across around the door and in through the hallway and hit the glasses that were all pouring with champagne. You almost knocked it down, and you could have been on TV in today's society, you know. Well, that was great. And then the time that I had said, Donna, thanking everybody for coming to the wedding, I had said, Donna has been waiting a long time for this, and I didn't mean it to be funny, but it was funny, and I really, really remember that. Some of the other special times, I think, were when all of you guests left the wedding, and the reception was over. Jimmy and Donna stood and sat, actually, as Steve took a video of them and talked about their family to be, and that was something that was so special. When I think about how God plays a part in your life, I'm very proud of you. Proud to be your father-in-law, proud to take over for your father. And in those times, I remember so very carefully how you talked about your children. You talked about BJ indirectly, about how great he was going to be, and he certainly is, and how beautiful Mary and Sarah are. And then, of course, little Mikey, that he may be the new generation at West Point. I mean, those are times that we'll never forget, that we're very, very happy and proud to be part of you, Jimmy. You're a great son.
Yeah, I got to say something. And we always brag about how us John Dominicos can
Yeah.
fix anything. We're so mechanical.
Yeah.
And Jimmy said to me, one time, he says, Mom, I can fix anything. Just call, just dial. And I thought sometimes that's better.
So to sum it up, as they said in West Point, let's fill our glasses and toast you.
Yeah.
Charge our glasses. That's what they say.
That's good.
Yeah, charge our glasses, and that
Yeah.
that is you. You know, we're proud of you, Jimmy. Yeah, really are.
My mom and dad gave us the best wedding of all time. Those of you that were lucky enough to be there to enjoy it with us, it was awesome.
It was a great wedding.
It was a lot of fun. Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Jerry, where's Jerry? This is, you're right about the size of the head. That's amazing. It's really good. You know what? It's an honor. My name is Rick Brown. I didn't write that down. It was an honor to be asked for my wife and I, and she was coming and something worked out that just didn't work out today, but she's so excited for you. And Donna, I'll tell you what, when I saw Jimmy a year ago, he said, Coach, the greatest thing ever happened to me was meeting my wife. And after seeing you tonight, I'll tell you what, just give her a round of applause. She's done a great job. I'm not going to stare at this, I'll tell you what. And another lady that's really amazing, you break this all down, and coming from a family of 6 kids, and seeing families, how they come together, and amazing lady. And I'm sure you've already done already, but let's give Mrs. Wolak a big round of applause. I'll tell you what, the original. Amazing. 2 girls, all the boys, amazing people. You know what, Jim, I'm so proud of you. I'm so excited for you. There's so much, like everyone here has so much on their heart, and you meet people in life. I was 28 years old when I met Jimmy, and I got my gray hair that next week. And it came in really strong. Bottom line, Jimmy, without question, is a warrior. And there's a lot of, it's just the way you're wired. And that's nothing to be apologetic about. There's great moments. And as mentioned, I mean, the things that you continue to do as you're working with men, working with your family, the way you love your wife, the way you love God, it's an encouragement for me to watch that. And I was so young. I looked, when you came this last year and watched us play a game, you encouraged me so much. You made me feel like a great football coach. And I realized back in 1980, I had a great football team that I was very fortunate with a great staff. All that said, all the different stats and things that come together, and as people have mentioned about his faith, that he's a man of faith, and I love that about him. And we had, you look at, here's the CIF championship, and it's exciting and all that, but prior to that time, some really difficult things happened, very difficult things. And Jimmy, you recall it really well, and so do I. And when it's all done, you look back and say, God, what a great moment that was. Well, what happened, we had a very good football team his senior year, undefeated, and we end up finding out we have a guy that's ineligible. And it was tough, very difficult time. We find ourselves playing the last game of the year for an opportunity to go on to the playoffs. And Jimmy makes a run. He breaks off for a touchdown. I'm going crazy. We're going to the playoffs. And I look around and see this yellow flag and go, no. And all of a sudden they call it the play back. And we lose. And we get on in a bus. And as Jason said earlier, that a lot of times, I was talking with Jason at one of the tables, that there's so much that's learned on an athletic field, on a team, it doesn't matter whether it's a cheerleader, and I have 3 daughters, and we've had plenty of cheerleaders, whether it's soccer, whatever sport it is. But what we learned that night, what I learned from Jimmy, when things get really tough, where do you turn? And in this group right here, there's just things that happen. People may be going through some really tough times and stuff. Might be great, like what you're experiencing right now. But I remember getting on the bus, and a high school football team, very talented football team, crying their eyes out. And I turned to him, and what my father had taught me, much like your dad, I said, what do you do in this situation? So I just turned to, I said, in my situation now, I'm a young coach, but I know the only thing that could really pull us out of this is God. And I said, does anybody on this bus want to pray? And Jimmy immediately threw his hand up, just threw it right. He said, I'll do it, coach. And it was tough. He just, I mean, the emotion of that game and the intensity of that game was so phenomenal. But he said a simple word and a simple prayer. He said, God, give us an opportunity to go on and play. It's going to be very difficult for us to even get into playoffs. If we did, we'd be one of 16 teams. We'd be the wild card team. We lost it that night. And if we do, We'll play anybody, anywhere, anytime in their backyards. I remember you saying in their backyards. Well, the next morning, and we said amen. We went back and we cried and had our little pity party and everything else. Went home. I kicked my dog a couple of times. It was wonderful. Being a good Christian man. It's a Christian dog, by the way. Anyway, so we get home, and then the next morning I call and I talk. And it's amazing how God works things out in life. But I called the next morning, and I talked to CIF office. I said, by any chance, this is Rick Brown from Covina High School. I haven't thought about this for years, but is there any way that Covina High School is going to get a shot in the playoffs? And the guy that answered the phone was our referee the night of South Hill's game. And he says, Coach, you are the wild card team. You're number 16. Number 16 of 16. And we end up playing. And he said, I saw your team. I saw you guys, how you played all year long. Great character. I'm not sure about that Wolak kid. No, he didn't say that. You know what? It was because of your inspiration, Jimmy, that did that, and the way you led our team. But I just remember seeing that situation. Then we ended up playing 4 first-place teams, including South Hills. I'm sorry, but it was a wonderful night. And when it was all said, and one personal story for me, and I don't want to go too long, I apologize. But when I was a senior in high school, we played for the CIF championship. We were 12-0. And really unique situation. We were green and gold, and we played a team red and white. And that's just the flip side of what we experienced at Covina High. Well, after the game's over, my senior year, we lost. And I remember for like 13 years, I struggled with, God, what did I do wrong? Why didn't we win? You know, and it had nothing to do with it. And I remember seeing the CIF runner-up things that we had when we got to the finals, and that's great, but it wasn't that exciting. Anyway, that night, at the end of the night, we had won. And Jimmy, I don't know if I ever even told you this, but a guy named Kenny Impostato comes up to me, and I saw the CIF championship trophy. That was great. And then I saw this, and I saw the excitement of our team, and that was great. But then he says, Coach Brown, I love you. I go, whoa. And I'll tell you what, that did it. And that's what's here tonight, is there's so much love for the Wolak family. And Jimmy Wolak, I know it's tough, but I do love you. God bless you, Jimmy.
Got here probably about an hour ago. I took 7 hours from Flagstaff to get here. Thank you. I guess that kind of shows you how much a guy like this has in my life. We did get pulled over.
Did you have the money card?
No. Apparently in Arizona, they don't care if Jim Wolak is the captain of East LA. Aside from that, my first recollection of Mr. Wolak was when I was in 5th or 6th grade. I remember he would come out to the field on random days with the USC football, which made me happy. And he would get everybody, all of BJ's friends, and he would just toss it around. And I guess you don't realize it to see a guy like that out there. You just think, oh, you know, what a nice dad. He goes out and he plays football, but you think he has a job. He might have had the day off or whatever, but he chose to be there with his son and his friends. Now, don't get me wrong. While we were having fun, I'm guaranteeing you, Mr. Wolak was over next to BJ criticizing him about all the bad routes he was running. Just the last and second thing he taught me was I realized that I was able to maintain a girlfriend because of Mr. Wolak's great advice. My girlfriend of a year and a half right now, I learned when I was sitting on the couch one day next to BJ just watching TV, Mr. Wolak comes over and starts telling us, he goes, you guys, you can't let the women, tell you what to do right next to Mrs. Wolak. You can't let them, dictate, you make up the rules. You do what you need to do. I'm standing there thinking, man, BJ, your dad's really cool. How does he get away with them? We proceeded to go into the other room to play video games. Out of the corner of my ear, I hear, Donna, you're always right. You know I love you more than anything in the world, It just shows you one of the benefits that you can experience throughout your life. Keep your love hidden. Don't overall, sweet and simple. Like I said, I came out here tonight because obviously there was a good reason for it. And, I have a great father, and it's great to know that if anything ever happened to him, I'd have a second great father lying right next to me. Thank you.
Doesn't normally dress like this. Thank you, man. Thank you, sweetie. Yeah. Oh, let me get a picture real quick. We had a cheerleading competition today. Now she's doing some action at Glendora High School, so very proud of her. Thank you, Monkey. I love you too. How are you going to special guest appearance. Guest appearance.
Speech.
Yeah, I will.
How about cheer? Oh, a speech or a cheer? Sorry I look like this. I just want to say happy birthday, Dad. I love you so much. You mean the world to me. You've taught me everything I know. You're the most religious person. You always have my back. There's nothing, you've taught me everything. I love you so much. I know you don't like John, but he's not really crazy about my boyfriend. That's the only thing.
Nobody's going to get married. Don't use the view. He's not your boyfriend.
I promise.
Special friend.
I promise I won't marry him. So.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah. You help me in everything I do. You taught me all I know. And I'm so thankful to have you. I love you so much, Dad. I hope you have a great birthday.
Bob Prada, and longtime friend of Jim and Donna and the family. When I think of Jim Wolak, I think God kind of got it wrong in some regards. He gave him so much intensity, but no discretion. I mean, he says the things we think, but none of us will say. And he says them. It's that bird in our mind that says, don't say it, don't say it. Jim doesn't have it. At one point, he came up to me, and we were in the living room, and he says, "Hey, Bob, do you like obituaries?" Well, I like to read them, Jim. And but what do you mean by like him? And he says, no, he has to read obituaries, and I actually do as well. But I don't like him. I like what people say about people, and here we are at the 50th birthday of Mr. Wolak, and